previewing this next upcoming week for Gonzaga. It's a huge one. Central Michigan, the Chippewas. We're just going to brush over that one really quickly and talk about UCLA. That UCLA game, 43rd time in the history of college basketball that in the regular season, number one meets number two. Gonzaga obviously being number one. And I believe it's the only time that both of those two teams have been true West Coast teams. So that's awesome to see the West Coast basketball is getting a little bit of excitement, a little bit more interest, a little bit of coverage because it's well deserved what those two teams did a season ago, but what they're also seemingly looking to do this year. So I think some of the big things for the UCLA game for Gonzaga to really focus in on and be prepared for is UCLA is going to guard you. Any Mick Cronin team going back to when he was at Cincinnati, they're going to be terrific on the defensive end, which is no different this year. So Gonzaga's got to, get stops, push when you can get easy transition buckets, take advantage of it. But then get into their continuity ball screen offense, which has been pretty good at times this year. I wouldn't be surprised to see some lineups where they have the three guards, Bolton, Nemhart, and Nolan Hickman in there together, where you've got three ball handler decision makers to really kind of put the defense back on their heels. But the reason I think it's so important is because to get that ball moving side to side is because UCLA is so good defensively. You got to put them in positions where they're going to break down, make a mistake, and they're not going to make a mistake on the strong side on the initial entry. It's going to have to get moved a second or a third time to put them in more opportunities to make that mistake. And then I think defensively, Juzang's gotten off to a nice start this year. That's going to be interesting to see who picks up that assignment. I think Jaquez, Gonzaga has to match his effort and energy on the glass as well as in transition and being aware of him on cuts because he's really opportunistic with how he gets off baskets off of back cuts, flashes into the paint, different things like that. So that's going to be a fun one to watch. And then everybody's going to be excited and looking forward to the Duke matchup on Friday. You've got a matchup that the game has been sold out almost since the day or the week the tickets went on sale. Everybody's excited because Duke is back from a season ago. They struggled. They're back, top 10. Paulo Banchero and Chet Holmgren, the two best freshmen in the country. There's going to be a lot of talk about these two guys. Who's the number one pick in the NBA draft? Well, the way I see it right now, there's really neither one of them has distanced themselves. I think so much of it is going to depend on who has that number one pick and what their roster makeup looks like. Because I don't think you can go wrong with either one. I think Chet is probably more versatile. His scoring numbers aren't going to just jump out at you as where Banchero is going to have the opportunity, I think, where his scoring numbers are going to jump out and look much higher than Holmgren's will at the course of the year. Well, I mean, they're both unbelievable, terrific players. I think it's going to be interesting to see, the point guard matchups for Duke versus Gonzaga. I think Gonzaga's got that advantage. I know Keel's had a nice game earlier in the season. I believe it was against Kentucky in the Champions Classic. But when all is said and done, this is going to be a high-scoring, up-and-down game. I think you're going to see both teams at least into the mid-80s, probably maybe into the 90s. It's going to be a close game, but I think Gonzaga is going to prevail. And if they get through this week, Central Michigan, UCLA, and Duke, you're going to start to hear some chatter about Gonzaga going undefeated because if they get through this week, it's looking like a real possibility.